The mansion was a sprawling behemoth, a grand structure that had stood for generations, a testament to wealth, power, and privilege. Wexford Manor, as it was known, was nestled amidst lush gardens and manicured lawns, an idyllic oasis that seemed untouched by time. But within its opulent walls lay secrets, and the shadows of deceit were destined to unravel the lives of those who dwelled within. Nathaniel Wexford, the patriarch of the family, was a man of immense wealth, his fortune built on the backs of others, and his influence extended to every corner of the city. He was known for his charisma, his commanding presence, and his unyielding desire for power. His mansion was both a sanctuary and a fortress, where his every whim was catered to. On a crisp autumn evening, as the leaves rustled in the garden and the air grew cool, Nathaniel Wexford hosted a gathering at his mansion. The guest list was a who's who of the city's elite, a congregation of wealth and influence. As the night unfolded, champagne flowed, laughter echoed through the opulent halls, and music played softly in the background. The mood was buoyant, and the mansion's rooms were filled with conversation and revelry. Among the guests was Henry Thornton, a man whose charm and charisma had earned him a place in Nathaniel's inner circle. Henry had a reputation for his silver tongue and the uncanny ability to get what he wanted. As the night wore on, Nathaniel's daughter, Isabella, caught Henry's eye. Her beauty was renowned throughout the city, but it was her intelligence and wit that had truly captured his interest. The two were inseparable, drawn to each other by an invisible force that defied the boundaries of their social circles. Their connection was the talk of the gathering, and some guests whispered in hushed tones about the potential scandal it might cause. But Nathaniel, who was consumed by his own ambitions, paid little attention to the blossoming romance under his roof. As the evening drew to a close, Isabella and Henry slipped away from the crowd, seeking a quiet moment of intimacy in the dimly lit library. The room was lined with leather-bound books, and the soft glow of a flickering candle cast long, dancing shadows. In the midst of a whispered conversation, a noise pierced the tranquility of the library, a gunshot, followed by the shattering of glass. The room fell into a tense silence, and Isabella's eyes widened in fear. She knew that something dreadful had occurred, and her heart raced. Rushing from the library, they discovered chaos in the mansion's grand hallway. Nathaniel Wexford lay motionless on the marble floor, a pool of crimson spreading beneath him. The gathering had erupted into disarray, with guests fleeing in panic, and the grand chandeliers swaying ominously overhead. Henry, his face ashen with shock, knelt beside Nathaniel's lifeless body. Panic and confusion were etched on his face, but the room seemed to have descended into chaos. The authorities were summoned, and the mansion was sealed off, becoming a crime scene. The investigation that followed was both complex and arduous. Detectives and forensic experts combed through the mansion, seeking evidence and clues that would unravel the enigma of Nathaniel Wexford's murder. The ballistics report confirmed that the gunshot that had ended his life had come from a firearm owned by Henry Thornton. Henry's arrest was swift, and he found himself detained in a cell, accused of a crime he swore he hadn't committed. Isabella, still shaken by the events of that fateful evening, was torn between her loyalty to Henry and her loyalty to her father. The trial that followed was a spectacle, a dramatic and sensational affair that captivated the city's attention. Henry's defense attorney argued vehemently for his innocence, insisting that there was no motive for him to murder Nathaniel Wexford, the man who had welcomed him into his inner circle. As the trial unfolded, secrets were revealed, and the shadows of deceit began to take shape. The Wexford family's wealth had been built on a foundation of corruption and exploitation, and Nathaniel's insatiable ambition had left a trail of enemies in his wake. His manipulation and ruthless pursuit of power had made him a target, and the list of potential suspects was long. Isabella, caught in the middle of the trial, began to uncover unsettling truths about her family and her father's dark dealings. She had long suspected that her father's wealth had come at a cost, but the extent of his corruption was beyond her worst nightmares. The revelation left her with a sense of betrayal and a gnawing doubt about her family's true nature. As the trial continued, Isabella's investigation led her to a series of secret letters and documents hidden in the mansion. They revealed a network of business dealings that were both unethical and illegal, a web of deceit that had ensnared her father. Nathaniel Wexford had been involved in a complex world of money laundering and extortion, and it was clear that his actions had consequences that had finally caught up with him. The discovery of the incriminating documents added a new layer of complexity to the trial. The defense argued that Nathaniel's murder might have been the result of a business dispute or retaliation from someone he had wronged. The prosecution, on the other hand, maintained that Henry Thornton had the most to gain from Nathaniel's death, as it would grant him access to the vast Wexford fortune. As the trial drew to a close, the verdict was handed down, and Henry Thornton was found guilty of Nathaniel Wexford's murder. Isabella, devastated by the outcome, knew that she had to uncover the truth to prove Henry's innocence. Determined to unravel the enigma of her father's murder, Isabella delved deeper into the secrets of Wexford Manor. She uncovered a hidden passage in the mansion's library, leading to a secret chamber filled with evidence that could exonerate Henry. The evidence revealed a different narrative of Nathaniel's death, one that pointed to a business associate who had been threatened by Nathaniel's corrupt dealings. The true motive behind the murder began to take shape, and Isabella realized that her father's death had been orchestrated to protect the dark secrets he had amassed. With the new evidence in hand, Isabella and her legal team filed for an appeal, and the case was reopened. As the trial was revisited, the truth began to emerge, and the real murderer was unmasked. The corrupt business associate who had conspired to kill Nathaniel Wexford was arrested, and Henry Thornton was released from prison. The revelation of Nathaniel's involvement in illegal dealings tarnished the Wexford family name, but it also brought closure to Isabella and allowed her to move forward with her life. The shadows of deceit that had haunted Wexford Manor were finally laid to rest. As the mansion's grandeur was overshadowed by the revelations, Isabella decided to leave the tainted legacy of Wexford Manor behind. She knew that the mansion held too many memories and secrets, and it was time to embrace a new beginning, far from the dark shadows that had cast their long-reaching echoes over her life. Wexford Manor remained a symbol of deception and intrigue, a place where the past and present converged in a web of secrets and lies. The grand mansion, once a fortress of power and privilege, now stood as a haunting reminder of the darkness that could lurk beneath even the most opulent facades. Isabella moved away from the city, seeking solace and a fresh start. She left behind the mansion and its haunting memories, choosing a simpler life far from the corruption and deceit that had plagued her family. It was a life of anonymity and peace, where the weight of her family's history no longer held her captive. As the years passed, Isabella found love and built a new life for herself. She was determined to break free from the shadows of her past and forge a future that was untainted by the sins of her family. The scars of the trial and her father's death slowly began to heal, and she discovered a sense of purpose in helping others overcome the darkness in their lives. Wexford Manor, however, remained a place frozen in time, a relic of a bygone era. The mansion's once imposing grandeur faded, and its halls were left to the ghosts of the past. It stood as a reminder that the sins of one generation could cast a long shadow over the next. As the years turned into decades, the mansion fell into disrepair. Its grand halls and ornate rooms were now inhabited only by dust and silence. The gardens, once manicured to perfection, grew wild and overgrown, reclaiming the land that had been so ruthlessly shaped by human hands. Visitors to the town and the few who dared to approach the decaying mansion spoke of eerie phenomena, the sound of ghostly whispers, the flicker of lights in the dead of night, and the unmistakable presence of a restless spirit. Some claimed to have seen the ghost of Nathaniel Wexford himself, his figure moving through the darkened halls in eternal torment. Wexford Manor had become a place of legend, a haunted mansion that drew the curious and the daring. Stories of its cursed history, the murder of Nathaniel Wexford, and the secrets that lay within its walls were passed down through the generations, each retelling adding a layer of mystery and fear. The mansion's dark legacy endured, serving as a chilling reminder of the price of deceit and corruption. It stood as a testament to the idea that the sins of the past could haunt the present, and that the shadows of deceit were never truly vanquished. As the years turned into centuries, Wexford Manor remained shrouded in mystery, its secrets buried within its silent, decaying walls. The mansion had become a place of ghostly whispers and lingering shadows, a place where the darkness of the past continued to cast its long-reaching echoes. And so, Wexford Manor stood, a silent sentinel to the enduring power of the past, a place where the deeds of one generation could echo through the annals of time, forever haunting the present and warning of the consequences of deceit.